Welcome back to This American Ride podcast, where we talk about issues that affect you, the average American. So the next one is the World Wide Web, man.
Yes. WWW.
There are grown adults right now who do not know what life is like without internet.
Yeah. That's wild, right?
It's scary. It's scary to me.
It's just crazy. I mean, I guess throughout history, there's always been things like that where a generation.
Yeah, but I feel like for a long time there wasn't. I mean, I feel like there has been nothing that, in my opinion, has ruined childhood more than the internet. I mean, when we were kids, it was like, one, you didn't want to...
Has it ruined it or has it changed it?
Well,
I mean, as someone who's raised two children that never knew what it was like to not have the internet, I mean, their childhood is certainly different than ours.
Did your kids spend more time inside than you did when you were a kid?
Yes, for sure. But they at least had organized sports that they were involved with, you know, that got them out of the house. But True. I feel like we as children didn't rely on organized sports to be outside with other kids playing and doing those things. So it definitely changed it in that way. And maybe, you know, us at our age can look at it and say it's for the worse, you know, it's not as good, but they don't know any better, and they've, you know, I don't know. I mean, it's definitely had an effect. Some people haven't handled it. Some younger people haven't handled it as well as others, and aren't as well rounded because of it. But
yeah, I just feel like when we were kids, one, you didn't want to be inside. You were angry if it rained, and you were stuck inside.
Yeah.
And
I mean, that's how you hung out with your friends.
Like, get out, just get out, Mama, get out of the house, get the hell. That's
how you interacted. You saw people, and I don't know. Anyway, you go ahead and talk about your World Wide Web. We're getting off on a tangent.
So it's true. World Wide Web was invented in 1989 by not Al Gore.
He swore it was him.
He did, man. He told everybody. So Tim Berners-Lee and Robert Kailau, as I'm sure I'm pronouncing that wrong. Yeah. But two Brits, 1989, they invented the code and the algorithm that the World Wide Web is based upon as we know it today, the WWW.
Right.
So
if you go back to little George and little Bert in high school, like there was no WWW. There was no playing on the internet.
There wasn't even talk. Here's the thing. I feel like there wasn't even talk about it.
No, just all of a sudden it was there.
It was just like people went to college, like our generation, people went to college, and it was like, what is this? Well, this is the World Wide Web, and we use, you know, this to get online, and we had these BBS, these bulletin board systems, and you had, you know, it seemed like we went from 0 to 1,000 miles an hour in like 2 or 3 years. We went from not knowing what something was to you've got mail.
Yeah, I mean, in high school, the closest thing to it was a typing class.
Right, we had basic programming. Remember basic? I took basic programming, and basic programming was like, you know, I can't even describe basic. It was like basically you entering commands and code into a computer.
It's the old screen, black with little box
green
letters and numbers,
green letters.
Yeah, like. You know,
so
people now are like, oh my God, that's ancient.
And now, a generation later, like there's whole college majors, whole careers, like whole lifestyles that are built upon this thing. Really, what I would consider in one generation, this has evolved faster and more rapidly than anything that I can think of in the history of mankind.
Yes. So the invention of the internet to where we are now, it's all happened super fast.
So quick.
Super fast. It's crazy.
And it's an industry. There's money. It costs me money to get online every month, right? I mean, here, especially depending on where you're at. I mean, like we don't have very much competition out here in, you know, the Pine Barrens in New Jersey. We basically have one provider, so they just slam you with it. And you're just, you know, you're consuming I am probably consuming most of my stuff off of the internet, to the point where even my TVs now are streamed off of the internet. So
a huge snowball effect of that.
It's insane.
We've gotten to the point now where people are cutting the cord. I did the quotes.
Cutting the cord.
And getting away from cable internet or cable TV, and now everything's streaming.
And streaming is one of those things, that is part of the internet evolution. That is, and this isn't the only thing in this list that I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to do that. Yeah, that's some bullshit. Yeah, I don't want to be bothered with that. And probably a year or two after I said that, I'm like, yeah, let's do that. That sounds like a good idea. Yeah. It's insane where this beast has come, and everything. I feel like so many things I do now are on the internet. I worked from home all day on the internet.
Yeah. Everything. I mean, and I think the rest of our list kind of is all connected to,
which is why it was important to do
the
this
internet,
one.
which is why we did that first. Yeah. But what's scary when you think about what you just said with the streaming and how you decided to go streaming, and what's one of the major reasons we all have switched to streaming?
Was the cost of cable.
It's cheaper.
I mean, it's
much cheaper than cable, and
it's
much cheaper.
I got to be honest. Yeah, it is. I don't know what much.
I cut mine in half by switching from DirecTV satellite to YouTube TV. Yeah. Cut it in half.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, right? Yeah. So everybody does that, and you're going to put cable and DirecTV out of business, and then guess what happens? Streaming costs skyrocket, and we're right back to paying what we were, just with a different sort of platform.
Well, and I think like part of that, and anything that we've had in a capitalist society in this country, part of that is going to be how it is regulated and how companies consume one another. Years ago, cable, I feel, was a little bit different, and when you have different providers, the cost and more competition, the cost kind of stays down a little bit. And right now with streaming, you've got YouTube, you've got Hulu. Who am I missing? I mean, there's a bunch of free stuff
Tubi.
Still. Yep.
Tubi, I think.
TiVo. Is TiVo still a thing? I don't know.
TiVo's not a...
Apple TV's a thing.
Yeah. I mean, there's a bunch of different...
There's a ton of them.
Streaming providers.
There's a ton of them. And you're dependent upon an internet provider, obviously, to get your streaming provider. And...
So I guess that keeps Comcast in business, huh?
That will keep Comcast in business. In your cable, I feel like your cable internet's just going to get more expensive. That's going to be the killer.
Because everybody's going to stop using them for TV
and just use them.
And just use them for the internet providing, and then that's going to be like, okay, now we got to make up for everybody not having cable TV, and now we got to jack up our internet prices.
And I'm one of those people that when the cable companies go out of business, I don't even care, because I feel like cable companies have been just raping us for the better part of a decade.
Well, do you stop and think about what we pay to watch TV?
It's ridiculous. What was free? In this country, really, TV was free. It was broadcast over the airwaves.
Think about like the people that don't watch TV and they like spend most of their time outdoors or whatever, and they're like just laughing at us.
Right.
They don't care about TV, so they're out and about doing their thing, and we're over here paying $200+ a month to watch TV.
Just to watch TV.
And the stuff that's on TV is crap.
Mind you, I don't watch $200 a month worth of TV. I think you guys might. I feel like you and Carolyn might watch.
The only reason I say I do is because working from home, I always have it on.
Yeah. I don't have that kind of
discipline. But how much we actually watch together, like in evenings, really varies.
Yeah.
In the nice weather, it's very minimal. Okay. But then it's picking up now as it starts to get colder, and we're not outside doing anything at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock in the evening. We're probably in front of the TV watching something as we talk and stuff.
Yeah, it's...
And obviously sports. I watch the crap out of sports.
Yeah, well, most of us do. But ironically, like... the TV seasons and all these episodes and stuff, they revolve around that change of season.
Absolutely. There's nothing good on in the summer.
No.
Yeah. They don't put anything on because they know nobody's home.
Yep.
And all the good good shows. Again, I'm using quotes for those of you not able to watch on YouTube.
All Bert's programs.
They know, and they don't put squat on in the summer, and then all the good shows are starting like right now as the weather, as the time change happens, and it gets cold in the at least half of the country. That's when all the good stuff comes on. So they know what they're doing.
Oh yeah, they're not stupid. So I just feel like that is, when you look at like what the web and how it has moved this technology, and even more things that we're about to talk about here, it is just that stuff has grown insanely fast.
Yeah, but insanely fast. Absolutely. And how huge of a change in like our lives did email make?
So email, and ironically,
you got some stuff on email.
Ironically, email is older than the World Wide Web by more than a decade.
Which is really, how does that work?
I don't know how that works. So the first email was sent in 1971 by a guy named Ray Tomlinson, and he sent a message between two machines that were right next to each other in the same room,
but not connected, not tethered by any kind of cable.
Not physically connected. Don't ask me how he did that. I don't know.
That like right there when you talk about the whole, we're so far, we're internet, we take it for granted, but like, how in the world did he do that? How big was his brain?
How did he come up with that?
Like it's crazy, but I don't understand. So you don't need the internet to send an email?
I guess not. It happened over.
You don't even have an answer for this, do you?
I don't. But
I'm looking at you for the nerdy answers, and you just don't have it.
I don't have it. I don't have the geeky answer for it. But it's over a decade before the invention of the World Wide Web that they sent, one email, and it was the first time that the @ sign was used, or as nerdy geeky people would call it, the ampersand. I don't call it an ampersand. I think Stacy calls it an ampersand. So
that's like,
I don't believe.
So that's somebody that really learned like typing on a typewriter. No, isn't that what it would have been on?
An ampersand would have probably been there. Yeah. I think coders used it, and Stacy did some coding and stuff in college.
Like, is it called a pound sign? Was that the original name for it?
Well, the original name for that is a pound sign. And
is it?
For those of you listening who are trying to scratch your head, who are too young, because there's a generation of you that is too young to know what a pound sign is, it is a hashtag. Yep.
Yeah, we like every one of those things that's on like an old keyboard is now has a different name, just based on technology and the way it's advanced. And generations are like, oh, that's a pound sign.
Yeah, it's like, what's a pound?
Pound. Can you get a pound?
So, can I get a pound? Oh, you want a pound?
Pound sign.
Ooh, yeah, there you go.